everyone, and welcome to this week's video. And this week, as you've probably guessed, I will be reviewing the Cmyk Design Works markers, which you can pick up from a UK based shop called The Works. Now, I saw these in The Works a while ago and I really wanted to try them out, and I've been saving so I could buy the entire set so I could do a review on them. Now, they come in packs of 12 or 24, and the pack of 12 goes for £10 and the pack of 24 goes for 15. This video is not sponsored. I just like to pick up alcohol markers every now and again and review them on this channel. And this will be one of many alcohol marker reviews I have done for this channel. So if you're ever interested in checking them out, there will be a playlist that will pop up and you can check out all my alcohol marker reviews that I have done there. Now, alcohol markers are a staple for me. I absolutely love using them. I love the graphicness of the colours, and there are so many different brands out there apart from the huge name brands that we have already that we all know of: the Cmyk, the Spectrum, the Spectra, the Winsor & Newton, Pro Markers. There's so many different brands out there, and sometimes it can be really difficult to start on. So these reviews are here to help you to make your decision on whether or not the markers are best suited for you. And that's what's really good, I think, about reviews on markers themselves and other art supplies. Now, I will always try my best to give my honest opinion. I am used to using Pro Markers. Pro Markers are markers that I've used for a very long time. I actually switched over from Pro Markers from Cmyk markers because I personally do not like brush tip markers, but that's a personal preference. Some people may find that as a con if a pen does not come with a brush tip. So here's my pros and cons of these markers. As you can see, when I swatch them, the colours are bright and vibrant, which is always perfect for some alcohol markers. There's lots of mid-tones, some desaturated light tones, and some dark tones there, but we tend to have a lot of mid-range tones here, which can be difficult for blending because you want a lot of lighter tones. So you basically want a good mixture of lighter tones, darker tones, and sort of mid-tones as well to be able to get a really nice effect when blending. So you'll notice here there is not a lot of light colours at all, and there's not a lot of really dark colours, so we have a lot of mid-range colours. Also, you're getting quite a bit of speckling. Now, I'm using mixed media paper here. Mixed media paper is the paper that I always use with alcohol markers, so it's what I tend to base my review on. Now, alcohol markers will always perform better on alcohol paper or Bristol board, but personally I don't like I really don't like marker paper. I find it very flimsy, and Bristol board, I don't actually have any at the moment. It is something that I've been meaning to pick up for future reviews to show how markers behave on different paper. If that is something that you're interested in, let me know in the comments section down below. So since we had a very colourful palette, I thought I'd design one of the tiefling characters from our home game that we have. This is Sunny. She is a tiefling druid, and she is in my Tuesday game. She's a character that they have not met yet, which I'm very excited to show her off. I'm using some Unipin fineliners here. This is just to get my lines down. I can't sing the praises of this marker or this fine liner enough. I genuinely do love this fine liner. It's one of my favourite fine liners out there. But enough going on about the fine liner. We're here to talk about the markers. Now, as I said, these markers are available in packs of 12 and 24 on the Works website. I did try and get a little bit more information about them, but as far as I can see, there's 48 to 54 colours, because there's some colours that are available in the 24 pack that are not available in the 12 packs. However, the 24 pack has a lot of the colours that the 12 packs does. So from counting up, it looks like there's around about 50-ish colours in this range. That's not a lot for alcohol markers, but it is a good way to start. So you're looking at £10 for a 12 pack or you are looking at £15 for a 24. So that means that your markers will range from 62 to 83 pence per marker, depending on which one you go for. That is really cheap per marker. That's under £1 per marker. So if you are looking at starting at alcohol markers, sometimes a budget marker is really good for you. The pros I can think of this, they are very cheap. They are accessible to most people in the UK, as most of us do have a work store or available to the online store. From what I can see, there is some available on Amazon. It doesn't look like this marker is available as it stands outside of Europe. I did have a really good look, and I found some listings on eBay, but not much else. So this is really a UK based alcohol marker. I know Winsor & Newton is a UK based company, but they are available worldwide, whereas this one isn't. I just really wanted to try out this marker range because I'd seen it every time I went into the works, and I just thought I really have to try these out and see if they are worth it. And remember, the last markers I tried from the works, the Boldmere markers, were not very good. You can see my review on that. It was certainly an interesting choice. It definitely is not my favourite marker out there. It's possibly one of the lowest ranking markers I have tried in all the markers that I've tried over the years. But this one was fairly decent. We did get a fair amount of speckling when we oversaturated colours, but that is to be expected when you do oversaturate certain colours, especially on non-marker paper. You are going to get speckling. This does happen a lot with darker tones. It tends to be with alcohol markers, or when you keep on applying the marker over and over in the same area. But one thing I did notice was some of the markers were a lot juicier than others. Now, some people will say, hey, a juicy marker is good, but that's a sign that your marker can run out fairly quickly. If your marker is fairly juicy and is bleeding a lot when you are applying colour down, that is a sign that the alcohol marker may run out much quicker. In my personal experience, when a marker is fairly juicy, this means that it does dry up much quicker. So that can be a con. Some people like juicy alcohol markers, but personally I find that they run out quicker. And if we are on a budget and we are after our markers lasting quite long, that can be a problem. The containers that they came in were really cute. This is perfect if you are trying to build a set. They are already in their own perfect containers and easily accessible. I thought that was a really nice touch, considering most alcohol markers, when you get them, they come in a pack in like certain ways. The ink almost matches the cap, which is pretty amazing. That does tend to be a very hit or miss thing I found with alcohol markers, but hey, it does match the cap, and the fact that it's got a colour under the end of the cap, that's really helpful, as well as that it does have a coding system. But I do have a problem with the coding system, and the name of the marker is on there as well, which is always fantastic to see as well. And they blend really nicely, as you can see on here on the illustration I did. I really think that they do blend fairly nicely with each other. Now, the cons, there is not a huge range of colours. That can be a bit of a problem, especially considering we don't have a lot of light tones. We have a lot of mid tones and barely any dark tones as well. This can be a bit of a problem when it comes to colouring, especially if we want certain lighter tones and certain darker tones. I will say, like, some colours felt drier than others, some colours felt really juicy, and this is a bit of a problem. This means that your alcohol marker can run out a little bit quicker. As you can see, they are very similar to the Winsor & Newton, with having the chisel tip and having the bullet nib. So it does get points for me because it has a bullet nib, but that might be a con for others because there is not a brush tip version of this marker, unfortunately. So it does only have a bullet and a chisel tip, so that can be a con for some people. Personally, for me, I prefer the bullet nib, but hey. Their colours aren't sold individually as well, so if one colour runs out, unfortunately you will have to buy the entire pack again. It is still a budget marker, but unfortunately you cannot buy these colours individually, which means that if you do run out of a colour, unfortunately you will have to rebuy the entire pack. The number system was slightly confusing. So when I got these packs, they were sold as like, this is a yellow pack, this is a green pack. And you'll notice when I've color coded them on there, it doesn't quite go the way that it should. If you're thinking of a spectrum of colors, you want your reds to mainly be together, to go into your oranges, to your yellows, and then into your greens. And it was a bit of a confusing system because it didn't make much sense. I tried to do a bit more research about it. I could not find anything about these markers, and it was kind of frustrating in a way because I wanted to find out more about the color coding system and I couldn't find out anything. They do as well, considering that the markers can be quite juicy, they do bleed fairly easily as well. But as a budget marker, there is a lot of pros here. They are a fantastic colour range. As you can see, there's a lot of colours here. And for £40, which is how much I spent there on all of these markers, you've got a nice fair range of markers. And one of the things I will say, I don't think you need the most expensive art supplies to do art. I genuinely think that having sometimes the most expensive art supplies can be detrimental to your work. It's always good to start with something cheaper and then eventually branch out into something more expensive. So for example, if you want to know whether or not a bullet tip marker is for you, this could be a good alternative. It is a lot cheaper than the Winsor & Newton markers, considering the Winsor & Newton markers for a pack of 12, they go for £24 average retail price. So it does depend on where you get them from. At some places you can get markers cheaper, but overall I can recommend this. This is on my recommendation list. They're really nice to use, and they're a good budget marker. So I hope this review has been somewhat helpful for you guys. If there's any alcohol markers you would like me to try out, or if you want to check out any of my reviews, there's a playlist, and leave a comment down below in any markers that you would like me to try out for future videos. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, enjoy drawing, and as always folks, stay creative.